right, folks. Welcome back to the Gifts Differing podcast. Today, we're joined by two guests, the great Sam, and once again, the great Alicia. We're talking about something a little more reflective today. With winter finally fading and spring on the way, it's one of those moments where you can't help but look back. Time, man, it's like, where did it go? We were just wrapped up in layers, watching the last leaves fall from the trees, and now we're gearing up for longer days with daylight savings. Life shifts, almost imperceptibly, and we just flow with it.
Yeah, it's funny how time moves, isn't it? It reminds me of that idea in Stoicism that time is fleeting, and we're not really in control of it. We only have the present moment to act, and everything else is beyond us. It's like rings in a tree marking each passing year, each cycle of life. I think that's one of the Stoic lessons we often overlook. We're so focused on the future, we forget the transient beauty of the now. The seasons change, but the changes are inevitable. They come and they go, regardless of whether we're ready for them.
That's right. You're just kind of along for the ride. It's almost like you're floating through life sometimes. It doesn't stop. I think that's one of the toughest parts of life. We can't escape time, but I think it's easy to let it slip by. To let it slip by without fully realizing how precious time really is.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think the beauty of life is that it's constantly shifting. Nothing stays the same. That's the nature of existence. The fleeting nature of time isn't something to dread. It's something to embrace. Seneca says, "We do not suddenly get ready to die. We have been dying every day." So death is not some far-off event. It's a part of every single moment we live. And once we internalize that, it's not a grim thought. It's freeing, in a way, because it helps understand the person I was yesterday, every moment of who I was and who I lived to be up until that moment. I will never get back, but that's history. My past self is history. It helps us understand that to live more intentionally.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. It's like the clock is ticking, but instead of being scared of it, we should use that awareness to really live. There's this sense of beauty, the impermanence of things, right? Like the seasons, they don't last forever. They're here, and then they're gone. But in their brief existence, there's something remarkable.
Exactly. The concept of memento mori, remember you will die, isn't meant to scare us, but to remind us that everything we have is temporary. We should live with that awareness, not in fear, but in appreciation. The world doesn't owe us time, but we are given it, so we must make the most of it. The beauty of the changing seasons, or the rings in a tree, is that they are markers of life's passage. Each moment that passes is a kind of small death, a turning point that we cannot reclaim. That's why we must make each moment meaningful, like the poet who writes in fleeting ink. The beauty lies in the transience.
You're right. It's like the value of a moment isn't in its endurance, but in how fully it's experienced. I think that's what's so powerful about Stoicism. You look at life through a lens that doesn't allow you to get attached to the idea of things lasting forever. It's all about accepting the moment as it is.
And there's a certain elegance to that, don't you think? The transient nature of life is not something to fight against, but something to accept. And in that acceptance, you find peace. The Stoics talk about how we should focus on what's in our control. And that's it. The seasons, time, the world, they will do as they will. But how we approach them is entirely within our power. That's where the beauty lies. Every season, every leaf that falls, every ring in a tree, it's all part of the cycle of life, and we're part of that cycle, too.
Well said, Alicia. It's got me thinking. So, if we think about time slipping through our fingers on a personal level, I can't help but wonder, does this same idea of impermanence apply to everything, to the universe itself? What if this transience isn't just something we experience, but something that's woven into the very fabric of reality?
You're not wrong there, Albion. In fact, what if time is not just a human construct, but actually woven into the laws of the universe, the same way gravity or light is? Consider the fine-tuning of the cosmos, the constants that make life possible, like the strength of the electromagnetic force or the rate of expansion of the universe. These constants are so perfectly balanced, so delicate, that even the slightest variation would make life impossible. It's as though the universe is inherently unstable. Even within its apparent stability, it moves from one state to the next. Everything is in constant flux, a cosmic impermanence.
That's the fascinating thing, isn't it, Sam? The very laws of the universe, laws we've only recently come to understand, are structured in such a way that life, reality, and time are temporary. It's not just that things change, it's that they must change for the universe to exist as we know it. There's something so humbling about that. The universe isn't built for stasis. It's built for movement, for transformation. It's almost as if change is the foundational essence of everything, from the birth of stars to the atoms in your body.
Wow, yeah, that's wild. It's like everything is almost designed to decay, to evolve, to move forward. And yet, that decay, it's not a bad thing, right? It's not like we're heading towards some ultimate destruction. It's more like completion, like everything is part of some larger cycle of transformation. And even if we don't always see it, there's beauty in that constant flow.
Exactly. And this isn't just abstract. If you zoom into the quantum level, the fundamental building blocks of reality, particles, are constantly shifting, constantly appearing and disappearing in what's called quantum fluctuation. This quantum nothingness is the very source of creation. So even at the smallest scale, even at the level of the most fundamental elements of reality, there's this impermanence. Everything that exists in the material world, from the stars to your coffee mug, is in a state of transient motion, even if we don't always notice it.
Right? It's almost as though the idea of impermanence is an illusion, a cognitive trick we play on ourselves. For example, if you look at the structure of a tree, its roots and trunk seem to be solid and unchanging. But beneath that surface, it's constantly moving, nutrients are flowing, cells are growing and dying. Even the space between those seemingly solid objects is in flux. It's a reminder that even when we think we're standing still, even when we look at something that seems to be permanent, the essence of its existence is always in a state of change. That tree, or even the chair you're sitting on, is becoming something else all the time.
Gee, that's crazy to think about. It makes me wonder, then, if the human experience is the same way. I mean, we walk through life thinking we're solid, that we're permanent, that we are in control. But really, we're just part of this infinite cycle of change, like everything else. We're caught in the same cosmic dance, if you will.
Precisely. And this isn't just some philosophical musing. This awareness of impermanence is actually one of the most profound things we can understand about our existence. It's like a lens that helps us see the truth about the universe. Even if you take something as simple as a drop of water, it evaporates, it condenses, it flows in and out of our world, only to become part of something greater. It's no different from us. We come into being, we fade away, and in the end, we return to the greater whole.
That's right. I've been thinking a lot about this lately. The beauty in the impermanence of life isn't just in the fleeting nature of things, but in the fact that those things, even if they disappear, leave behind a trace. Think about dust, particles that build up on your shoes. For example, they've been through so much. They've traveled, experienced, become part of something greater than themselves. That dust, it's not gone, it's simply transitioned, become part of the air, The earth, the water cycle, never truly lost. The memory of its existence is embedded in the universe. And that, to me, is a form of immortality.
Yes, that's incredible. Elysia, it's like everything we experience, every little thing we touch, becomes part of the world, of the universe. And it never really goes away. It's just like you said, it transitions. It seems the universe is this grand, eternal memory, and everything we do is just another impression on it. Every thought, every action, leaves behind some sort of mark.
There's a famous idea in philosophy called the eternal recurrence, and that idea was proposed by Nietzsche. It suggests that every moment, every action we take, is part of a cycle that repeats infinitely. While Nietzsche used it as a way to challenge us to live our lives as if they would happen again and again, I see it as a cosmic reminder that even though time appears linear, the moments we live are eternal. Not because they last forever in a physical sense, but because they ripple through time, through space, affecting everything around us, even if we don't realize it.
I love that. It's like the universe doesn't forget anything. Even though everything passes, everything leaves an imprint, a piece of itself in the next moment. So, in a way, nothing is ever truly gone. The impermanence of things becomes their permanence, their legacy. In the way the universe itself is constantly in motion, we're all connected in the vast, interconnected web of transience.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps here. It's so wild to think about how life isn't about holding on. It's about participating in the change, becoming part of that flow. The impermanence of life is what gives it its meaning, its depth. Without it, nothing would have substance. We're like stardust, temporary, yet infinite.
Exactly. And that's why we must embrace this impermanence. It forces us to live more consciously, more intentionally. Each breath, each step, each action becomes part of this grand, ongoing story that has no real end. We are both insignificant and magnificent at the same time, impermanent, yet eternal in our own quiet way.
We're like the leaves on the trees, Albion. We fall, we return to the earth, and in that process we nourish something new. We become part of something greater, something infinitely larger than ourselves.
Incredible. There's so much power in accepting that. It's like, once you let go of the illusion of permanence, you can truly start living. Everything becomes more vibrant. You embrace it all, its beauty, its transience, its eternal dance.
And that's the lesson. Life isn't about fighting the impermanence. It's about learning to flow with it.
Absolutely. To accept it, to become a part of it, and in doing so, perhaps we create something far greater than we could ever understand.
I think you just summed up the entire human experience in a few sentences right there. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on the show today. This has been an incredible conversation. I'll end on this note. I think we ought to realize that in each passing second, we are part of something far bigger than ourselves. You know what they say, don't just be a part of the universe, be alive in it. And with that said, thank you to all our subscribers, and thank you to all our listeners. Feel free to like this episode, and feel free to comment your thoughts on the beautiful, impermanent nature of existence. Well, see you later, guys. God bless you.